Hey, what's up, you guys? It is LSP Let's Stay Pro and doing another commentary for you guys. And I noticed with this channel, I've kind of learned to appreciate individual videos for what they are. Because coming from someone who did Let's Plays a lot, especially a smaller Let's Player, you quickly learn that you begin to care less and less about your individual Let's Play parts in comparison to the finished product. And what I mean by the finished final product is when the LP is over and you look at the playlist and all the videos, you kind of take it all in and you put it all together as one package. You know what I mean? It's kind of like when you buy a season of your favorite TV series or TV show. You know what I mean? You don't really point out specific parts or episodes, except for of course the funny ones, like the outstandingly funny ones. Like for example, a show I've been watching recently is How I Met Your Mother. That one's actually really entertaining. And I mean, when you buy the whole series, it's like, or the whole season, which, tends to be like 20, 30 episodes, you don't point out specific episodes. It's kind of the same thing with music albums, you know what I mean? Like back in the day, typically you'd find a lot more good music albums. Like a lot of times people will say, oh yeah, this guy or this artist, so and so artist made a great album. It has like 3 killer hits. But 3 killer hits isn't an album. That's an EP. That's an extended play at the very least. And if they only have 3 good hits out of like a 20-song album, it's a pretty shitty album, to be honest with you. Coming from someone who listens to a lot of music, you guys know I'm a big music guy. Like 3 hits on one album is not a whole lot, really. That shows that the rest of it is filler. That's all that means. The rest of it is filler. Sure, they have 3 hits, but that means they probably have 9 or 10 Debbie Downers or 9 or 10 just party songs. You know what I mean? That all convey the same message. You know what I mean? And I feel with music, something interesting is that it kind of applies to YouTubers as well. Because as a YouTuber, when you upload a video, even no matter what the video is, you always wait for that instant gratification, that first person to watch it, the first person to comment it, the first person to like it. And I've gone through this cycle many times. You can notice I uploaded over 400 uploads on my last channel. I've gone through that process over 400 times. And at that very moment, getting that first comment on that first video matters to you so much. But after you upload the next video, it's almost like the excitement for that previous video is almost, it's non-existent. You know what I mean? And that's the thing, right? Is a lot of times we upload videos with the short-term gratitude, the short-term gratification, in hope that it will instantly get watched. Like bam! Like a lot of times you'll see big YouTubers, they upload a video and it'll max at 301 views, 300 views, and it'll stay like that for a few hours. Like that type of instant gratification. Like bam! So many views that YouTube had to stop it because they think you were spamming views. And I mean, I don't really want to go through that cycle anymore. Because it sucks. I'll be honest with you. It sucks uploading a video and not getting no views on it, but then after the next video you upload, that previous one doesn't really matter to you that much anymore. But instead what I want to do is I want to make videos for the long term, for the longevity. Something that someone who stumbles across it in the future can take it and actually, take it in. Something that's actually insightful and something that's actually conveys a message. And I feel with music, a lot of times those are the best artists, and a lot of times they get the least attention for the simple fact that they just don't make a whole lot of catchy tunes that everybody could like, but instead they make tracks that either a specific demographic or a specific age group can relate to. And I think that's why I have such a big interest in punk rock in general, because fuck, I'm 17, you know what I mean? Like a lot of the stuff relates to me, and I find it very interesting that people go out of their way to make music or to make a message or to do a craft that's meant to help the future generation, like of me. Like a lot of the bands I listen to are bands that are either have disbanded a long time ago, or they still make music, but they've changed so much for the simple fact that they've grown older in age, that a lot of the music they make doesn't relate to me anymore because they're simply older than me. Like for example, one of my favorite bands, Blink-182, they've gone through, in my opinion, like 3 major changes. Like when they first started, from 1992 to 97 or 98, they were like a band that totally related to me. and I still listen to their music. And honestly, they're one of my biggest influences, alongside NoFX for making music in general. And then after that, when they got signed to a major label, they kind of became more of the bubblegum poppy band that everybody likes, but their messages aren't really all that present anymore. I mean, of course, after they got signed to a major label, they had their message-filled songs like Adam's Song and Stay Together for the Kids that weren't all about, girls and dating and sex and all that stuff. You know what I mean? So I feel after that they went through the adult period where they kind of grew up, they got married, they had kids, and they had this feeling, or they had this perspective that any middle-aged man would have. So their music reflects that. And I kind of respect that, you know what I mean? It's not just plain old boring bubblegum pop that's meant to be played on the radio for a couple of weeks and then taken off the air forever because they'll have something to replace it by then. So I can respect that, but I will always love their original period. Anyways, let me get out of that completely. So yeah, like there's two types of musical artists or artists in general. There's the ones that make their craft to get instant gratification, and then there's the ones that do it for future listeners or future observers. And I feel that is the demographic I want to hit. That's the one I really want to focus on, and that's the one that I want my content to reflect on. So I feel with the videos I'll make now, it doesn't matter if someone instantly watches it the day I upload it, or the hour, or the minute I upload it. I just, as long as someone finds it at some point, that's all that matters to me. That's really all that will keep me going at this point. You know what I mean? I just have this level of perspective because, I mean, think about it. There's artists out there who never got any gratification while they were alive doing their art, but they got recognized after they were dead and gone from the world. And that's kind of a crazy concept to think about. Like, imagine if you did something that everyone thought, or you thought that everyone disliked or didn't appreciate, but it wasn't until after you were dead where they actually took the time and patience to look at what you did in your life and actually take appreciation for it. And that's the thing that kind of scares me, right? Because for the most part, even the biggest of stars, even the biggest winners in life, like the Michael Jacksons, the Jimi Hendrix, the Kurt Cobains, all these amazing people that go and do amazing things. Of course, people are gonna sob and moan for them, or mourn for them, rather, and all that. They're gonna be sad, but at some point they're gonna come to a place where they just move on. And I think this is even more relatable to loved ones, because a lot of times they could last longer with someone you personally know and loved. You know what I mean? Like, you always see these people who lost their loved ones or their spouses or close friends or people that they spent their lives with, people they grew up with. And even then, a lot of times it may take longer, but they come to a point where they're just like, all right, I got to move on with my life, because if I don't, I'm going to end up in the same exact situation, simply for mourning for someone who is already in this situation. And I don't know, it's a crazy concept. The whole idea of life and death always caught me off guard, and it always left me with questions. Like, why are we alive in general? You know what I mean? Like, is there another life to be lived after this? And I know this a lot of times goes into a religious aspect, and I've never really been much of a religious guy in general. I could get into that in another commentary, because honestly, I could go on forever about that, really. Or not forever, but I could go on for probably another 9 minutes talking about that. But I feel like I understand the biological reasonings as to why humans exist. I understand that. But why is the world what it is? Why are organisms living the way they are? You know what I mean? And I think it's a fact that humans just are the only intellectual creatures on this earth. The fact that we ask ourselves these questions. Like, I feel if we didn't have intelligence, life would just go on and deaths would happen, and there wouldn't really be any emotion to be had after someone was dead and gone. It's crazy to think about it that way, but I mean, in the animal kingdom, that's exactly how it is. Think about it. Like your dog could die. Now, whether or not it's your dog or it's just some wild dog and random dog in the wild, you know what I mean? That's the difference between caring and not giving a shit about it. You know what I mean? It's a sad thing to think about, and I think that's why there's these groups focusing on getting the ecosystems better and saving the rainforest because they care about these random animals. Like, they may not know them specifically, but they understand the concept that if they did know them or if they were their personal pet, they would care about them on a much deeper emotional level. And I think that's what sets humans apart, in period. Like, the ability to care, the ability to think, the ability to help, the ability to imagine. And that's honestly what keeps everything going. That's what keeps me talking. That's what keeps commentaries going. And I feel it's these little things that kind of let you unwind and not think for a moment, and let me, the commentator, do the thinking. Let me do the intellectual part for like 10 minutes while you just sit here and relax and listen to what I gotta say. You know what I mean? I think that's why I've always listened to commentaries and why I always enjoyed them. Just for the fact that I've always enjoyed creative individuals in general. And this is like another form of creation. Just going off and talking about anything. You know what I mean? It could be anything. If it's in commentary form, chances are I'll listen in. You know what I mean? I'll chip in. Like, again, with the religion thing, like, I've never been a big guy on the homilies, because I feel with homilies a lot of times fathers or priests or whoever, pastors, they'll try to make sense out of something that doesn't need to be made sense of. Like, religion is something that you believe in. Like, you can't make sense out of something that can't be proven. And that's the fact of the matter. It simply can't be proven. And when you have that factor, there's no point in trying to make sense in it. Like, I probably, actually, no, I'm lying. I probably heard one or two homilies that slightly resonate with me, because I'm thinking, have I ever heard one that actually has resonated with me? I would say no. But I have heard one or two that for some reason they're in the back of my head, I just can't think about them, that have kind of made me think for a minute. You know what I mean? So I don't know, just some food for thought, guys. So that's about it for me. I'll be talking to you guys later. I'll probably put up maybe an episode of Top 5 Tuesday. That sounds pretty good. So yeah, that's been it for me. LSP, Let's Stay Pro. See you guys on the next video.